Welcome to Thursday Night Knives. I'm Bob DeMarco. Coming up, we're going to take a look at a whole bunch of stuff. I got a blade show, a random knife giveaway. We're going to be giving away the Civivi Typhoeus, thanks to OG Blades. Thank you, Dave. And just some general conversation here. I want to find out who went to Blade, but even more than that, of course, you've all had your eye out on the videos and what's coming in from there and what you can buy in the upcoming year. So I'm sure you have your eye on something. I want to hear what that is. In the meantime, I'm thinking of doing a show. It'll probably be the next week's Wednesday show, and it's knife adjacent. And it will include some of the things I got at the show this weekend. Exciting things I've been looking forward to. If you follow the show, you probably know what the first thing was that I went to get, and it wasn't a knife. Marco, how's it going, sir? Marco, an excellent name, sir. Pete Davidson, g'day, bloke. G'day, blokes, he says. Hope you had a fun time at Blade Show. Lucky duck. Indeed, I am a lucky duck. I got to say, I am grateful to make it out there every year. I'm also grateful that my wife is so cool because actually Blade Show usually falls on our anniversary weekend. It did not this year. They did it a weekend late. But yeah, I didn't have to miss our anniversary, and the cool points were kept in a still position. Doug Bowl, nice to have you here, Doug. Hi, Bob. Received the knife you sent. It's great. Again, thanks much. My pleasure, sir. Use it in good health. We are giving away a knife tonight here, thanks to OG Blades. Hey, speak of the devil, OG Blades, Dave here. Welcome back from the Big Kahuna Blade Show, Bob, with all the spoils. Arg, no doubt. This is something that Dave just sent not too long ago. It is a very cool knife from Civivi. It's called it sounds like a disease, Typhoeus. I'm sure it's like a Greek god that I don't know, but it's a pretty cool knife. It goes from regular sort of EDC, sort of non-threatening clip point fixed blade to a push dagger. So with the flip of a wrist, this whole handle transforms a la the CRKT and Joe Caswell morphing karambit. It's kind of very similar sort of action, and it goes from this regular knife to a push dagger. Really cool. And then it sits in this nice, I should do this under the knife cam, shouldn't I? Goes in this nice leather sheath with the C for Civivi. This is a really cool piece. Thank you, Dave, so much for sending this along. It's a very cool knife, and it's yet another hard one to let go out the door, but you got to do what you got to do. So that will be at 11 o'clock tonight, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, approximately 56 minutes away from now. That's if you're not in this time zone. All you got to do is put #knife in the comment. #knife gets you into the running. Scarboy, nice to have you here, Scarboy. Can't wait till my Agent 001 comes. Scarboy, I totally concur. I totally share your enthusiasm. What color handle are you getting? I'm wondering. And are you getting this single edge or are you getting the double edge? Let me know. Curious. Fernando Salome, nice to have you here, sir. Hello, knife junkies. Bob, Jim. Love your new knives, Bob. And the brass knuckles. Oh, I'm telling you, those brass knuckles are so sweet. They're so nicely contoured and they fit my hand so well. It actually feels good to have them in. It's like a little massage for the hand. And it's a massage for the other guy too. Those are technically called dusters. I think the other kind with the post in the middle, the brace that goes into the palm, I think those are considered brass knuckles, where you hold it like this. It's just not natural to me. So I like a duster where you can actually squeeze your fist and punch for real. But I'll show you those in a minute compared to their 3D printed brothers. Very cool. Pete Davidson, triple edge, that 002. Oh, hey, I got the 002 right here. I guess there's no need to wait to show it. But I grabbed, well, I shouldn't say I grab it, but Tim gave it to me, said, check it out. And I've actually used it. We were installing some I was helping my wife who installed most of it, but this nasty stuff that goes on the floor of a even nastier floor, I should say, of a locker room at the pool. And there's a lot of cutting, and there's some plastic cutting, and this thing did great. This is a really, really great utility knife, and also, of course, would be pretty good in all the other applications. You can hold it in reverse grip, feels great, and then, of course, in the regular reverse grip. Stephen Clayton, I met Stephen at Blade Show at the TKL booth. So nice to see you, sir. And it was very nice to meet your kin and to see how you carry the 13 TKL knives on you daily. That's incredible. And it came naturally, seemed natural. And of course, he had his Agent 001. But yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down about the triple edge. The only thing about the triple edge is it really changes the on that blade. It would get the sliciness would have to go, I think. They could do a Guardian blade on that, but this one, the 002, pretty sweet. Pat D's Nuts, nice to have you here, Pat. Good evening, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. May not make it all the way to the end, but I will try. Installed 13 300-pound steps and did a concrete pour for a paver walk this week. Too old for that shit. Oh, man. Oh, if you were here, I would squeeze one last job out of you because we got them in spades. But I like hearing that stout-hearted and old man strength. I'm sure you're younger than I am, but still, get into your 40s and you reach a different kind of strength. It's that get off my lawn sort of strength. Nick EDC, nice to see you here, sir. Hey, Bob and Jim, and hello, Junkies. Good to have you here, sir. I got the instant coffee with the stevia from Bolivia. Very nice. Benedict Odie. How you doing, Benedict? Howdy, all, he says. Well, howdy right back at you, sir. Dion Page, nice to have you here, Dion. Dion's won a couple of knives here. Dion, #knife tonight, wins you this here Civivi Typhoeus. Go from push dagger to acceptable little EDC, non-threatening knife in just the flick of a wrist. And then right back to the motorcycle gang fight. Look at this. It's a really nice push dagger, I gotta say. There's no lock on this, but it really doesn't need it. All it needs is your hand. Steve O. Taylor, good to have you here. Good day from Australia. We have a lot of people from Australia. I think that's pretty cool. Good to have you here, man. Stephen Clayton says, Joey and I enjoyed meeting you Saturday at Blade Show. Joey, thank you for reminding me of his name. I forgot. But really nice kid, and man, knows knives. I like that. I like seeing the Utes who know their knives. That's why I can tolerate the Bally boys walking around flipping their Bally songs with their hair dangling down and all that. It's better than hacky sack. I did a lot of hacky sack. At least they're flicking knives around. Have a knife day. I had an awesome night. I had an awesome knife with Have a Knife Day in the pit. We hung out and talked with his wonderful wife and some other people. It was great. It was really nice catching up with Michael. Good to have you here, man. Good evening, long day, and driving home. Well, drive safely. I know you're in the cauldron over there, but I actually live in one too, near DC. It's terrible here. Marco says, congrats on your collaboration with TKL. Well, thank you very much, Marco. I got to say, there was energy for me. It was high at this Blade Show because this knife was released and it was very popular and people were loving it. It was also cool to be a fly on the wall and just listen to kind of just hang out by the booth and see people picking it up and talking about it with their friends and stuff. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's sharp up here. Oh, ow. Oh, nice. I like the sharpening choil and this and that. Oh, the handle, doesn't it feel, all that kind of stuff, and then they put it down and walk away, or so oftentimes someone would buy one. And it was really, really an amazing experience for me. Frankie Frank, nice to see you here, Frankie. Welcome back, Bob and Jim and all you knife junkies. So let me ask you this. What was your favorite part about the Blade Show this year, sir? What were you most impressed with? Well, Okay, I got to get this out of the way, but it's absolutely 100% true. Lots of people, and every year I know more and more people. I've interviewed people that I want to meet in person, so there's a lot of that. And then my fellow YouTubers, that's always a lot of fun. And then seeking out knives and stuff. Lots of really, really great people and lots of great knives. But something that just, man, it jumps out. In the bunch of tables where independent and smaller knife makers have their wares, there's a part of the room that's really big, slick corporate setups for some of the bigger, not just corporate, but for some of the bigger companies, the big booths there. And then a lot of people set up on regular tables in these long rows, and that's my favorite part, because that's a part where you see and meet people you've never seen or met before. There was a guy there who had one single knife and the sheath, and then a little book, and I think it was a Bible. It should have been a Bible if it wasn't, just because it would go with this whole package. And it was like this unbelievably ornate dagger, small, unbelievably ornate sheath, small, and then this little clasped, ornate, jeweled book, which I'm guessing was a Bible. And that whole package was $40,000. And that was the only thing this guy had on his table. He was just kind of standing there waiting for that person with $40,000. That stuck out. I had not seen that. I know there are plenty of knives there that are worth that, or I don't know. I mean, I don't doubt that this guy put $40,000 worth of time and materials into that knife, but I'm just thinking, man, wow, does he have someone, like, is there a buyer that's coming to meet him here, or is he just showing up with this one thing he's been working on for a long time? Because no doubt he's worked on it for a long time, and he's just, so that impressed me. That really did stick out. But there were just, everything is impressive. Things will pop out as we go, but that really stuck out. Keith, how's it going, sir? He's giving me a $2 the super chat. I really appreciate it. Hello, Bob. I'm sorry, Bob. Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I want to say, Keith, I've been following your the stories I really like your videos in your shop. All right, this is for you, sir. All right, I got this. I saw Doug Markita there, said a brief hello. Reminded him of who I was, and that I met him in November. And he was like, yes, of course, I know who you are. And I'm like, well, then why don't you return my emails and come on my show? I didn't say that, but yep. Just confirmed his email address. So I'll be sending him another invite. Love to have Doug on and talk about his fighting and his knives. I'm gonna put this under the knife cam. I keep forgetting it's here. But I love this thing. This was my major purchase from the last knife show I went to before Blade Show, the Texas Custom Knife Show. This was a benefit knife. It went to veterans, and it was an auction knife. And I was so excited to win it, because these knives were made, and only 500 of these, and the small versions were made, and they sold, and that's that. So you would have to find one on the secondary market. Never did, but always wanted one. It's like a 9-inch Gununting, and it's absolutely beautiful. This, Keith, is for you, sir. Thank you so much for the super chat. Look at that. That is a nice knife. That is a nice knife. This is one of those knives you grab when you're called out on a duel. Okay, Bob, you besmirched someone's honor on Little River Turnpike. You're going to have to go and fight this guy. This would be one for sure. Fed Harrison, nice to have you here, Fed. Good evening, Bob and Jim. I didn't see you at Blade Show. So many people I didn't get to see. Too much to see and not enough time. Countdown for 2025 has started. That is for sure. Like there were people when I left, and was looking at Instagram on the way home and stuff like that. I'd see people's accounts, and I'd say, oh my God, they were there. How did I miss them? And they had a table or a booth set up. How did I miss a table or a booth? I was there for a combined 24 hours. I was there for every open hour, basically. Like, how did I miss anyone? But I missed Plenty. Aberdeen Blades, good to have you here, Aberdeen. You'd squeeze one last job out of Patty's. Oh, manaja. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I do that a lot. Will B, nice to have you here, Will. Hey, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. How you doing, Will? Have a Knife Death says, we had fun at the show. No doubt. No doubt. And you had a couple of cool pickups. Can't wait to see those videos. Pete Davidson, it's about lunchtime here in Australia, so great excuse for some smoke and a yarn with the Knife Junkie. I love it. I love it. I love it. You're on the other side of the planet, but you're enjoying knives with us right now. That's awesome. And I'm enjoying coffee, trying to resuscitate myself from it was hot outside, and I was hanging out with some awesome neighbor friends and had a few of these micro Coronas, but enough that I need to drink a little coffee right now. Robert Strebin, good to have you here, Robert. Hey, Bob, Jim, and the junkies out there. Well, we all say hey back at you. There it is, the two. I'm going to put this one away. Dave says the Agent 001 gets my seal of approval, even ahead of receiving it soon, I hope. And then the real fun begins. I can't wait till you have that knife, Dave. I feel like you're going to really love it. Yeah, you will really know how you'll know intuitively what I meant when you hold it in your hands. Pat D's Nuts says 40E would be great, but 51 is the reality. 40s would be great, but 51 is the reality. I'm 52, Pat. Ain't but a number. Pete Davidson says, did you see that Riot knife look like, oh yeah, knuckle duster, but the blade that flips out at the show? I did. Interested to hear about how it handles and carries. Okay. I got a chance to check that out. It looks sort of like that Fred Perrin, where it's like a pistol grip and then a finger ring and then a blade that protrudes from the finger ring at a 90, roughly, kind of 90-degree angle from the handle. It's more than that, but you get my point. Somewhat perpendicular. But you have to press a button and do a weird flip out. And I couldn't, while I was there, I couldn't get the hang of it, but I was also conscious of everyone else wanting to hold it, and the guy kind of like, and David Dang, the founder of Riot, kind of being like, here, let me show you how to use it. And I'm like, okay, I'll just watch you do it. I'm pretty neat though, pretty cool looking. Eugene Krabs, nice to have you here, Eugene. Hey Bob, I was wondering if Jim could recommend me a good ice pick. I'm looking for the Ontario Rat of ice picks. Very interesting. I will say that you can always get a Wingard Wearables dick pick or micro dick pick or Magnum if you wanted the big one, but this or the micro. But I'll let Jim speak about the ice picks, as he is the guy. But I like that question. Tell me about ice picks. And don't forget, Bastinelli makes the ice scream. I know, totally corny, but really cool ice pick from Bastinelli. And I think Microtech does one that's sort of like a ventilator pen. So it's like a big syringe, big hollow, nasty sort of punch blade. Dion Page, I want to get a Wyatt Haynes War. Ooh, what's that? A Wyatt Haynes War. That sounds good. Sounds like a Bowie knife with a name like Wyatt, Bowie. Ha! See? I knew it. Pete Davidson, in the workshop with my cat, sharpening a Spyderco mule at 11 with 3D scales and listening to you blokes. Awesome, Pete. Oh, you're hanging out with your cat. I have the sweetest cat, Luna. She's awesome. She's a hunter killer, but for me, she's a little sweetie cat. Frankie Frank says, that Dugmar Haida knife, I want it, Bob. If I don't find it, might have to challenge you to a duel, winner take all. Okay. All right. Krav Maglock. Good to have you here, Krav. Finally here. Was half-face blades at the show? I think they were, and I didn't see them. They were, someone mentioned half-face blades to me at a certain point, and but I didn't see them. So I guess I missed them. I think they may have been in the baller room, which was insane and had a lot of the time was just impenetrable, or at least certain displays were. Have a Knife Day says, inadvertently, my first shot of alcohol in over 20 years. Yeah. Luckily, hopefully that you didn't get a whole shot of it. Seemed like a just a tidbit, hopefully. But man alive, yeah, you handled that like a champ. I was like, he said a couple of times, it's hard, Cranberry. I was like, did he hear that? And then he goes, no. Splitting Slices. How's it going, Byron? Howdy, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. Watching tonight from Midland, Texas. Moving my oldest's family of 7 from Arizona to Tennessee. Wow. Day 4 of 9, almost over. Damn. Glad you like Blade 2024. That sounds like quite a journey. It's like wait, what was it? Not a movable feast. What was that? Oh boy. All right, forget it. Luck Knives, nice to see you here, Mike. I got to meet Mike in person and check out his stuff. Luck Knives, beautiful. That Persian shaped blade, very cool to see in person. Doug Bowl, Bob, that was a large knife sharpening on the spine. Also, what is it called? Wait, Bob, was that large E knife sharpened on the spine? Wait. Which one? Oh, are you talking about the this? Oh, you're talking about this. No, it could be. But it would still be a pretty oblique edge if you were to cut that. But yeah, I mean, you could sharpen that. Doug Markita told me when he was talking about this knife with me in Texas that he designed that so that someone could sharpen it if they want, but it does not come to a very fine spine there. Michael Elliott, nice to have you here, Michael. He says, it was great to meet you, Bob. Oh, we at Gunslinger Customs say hello and to the rest of the Knife Junkies. Awesome. Your card is right near my top. So I'll be reaching out maybe tomorrow to Jared. I have Jared's name and number. It was really nice meeting you guys. These guys, Gunslinger Knives, make really cool. 3 Marines. I think the 3rd gentleman was a Marine. I think they were all Marines. I know they were all service members, and that 2 of them definitely were Marines. Anyway, they do these amazing custom tactical fixed blades and self-defense martial blades that are just beautiful. And they also work with people to make their own designs. So if you have a design you'd like to see made, they will work with you. Of course, they are the experts. So if you come up with something that's totally whack, they'll work with the spirit of that design and work with you on materials and get you like an awesome custom made knife. So check them out. They are Gunfighter Customs. Sword XXXY, nice to have you here, sir. Good day, Bob, Jim, and Junkies. So yet another Aussie. I hope you don't mind my saying that. I don't know if that grates on the ears. Pete Davidson says, my ragdoll cat thinks he's a German Shepherd. He attacks strangers, plays fetch, and if anyone sits long enough, he will hump your leg. How about that? That's pretty interesting. A cat humping your leg. Our cat, little sweetie pie, on one day chased a fox out of the backyard and then chased a snake out. But the snake had suspicious patterns on the back, which later I found out were nothing. But I got in the way between the cat and the snake with a shovel. But that is a good cat. Jesus, nice to have you here, sir. Beautiful knives. Wow. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I'm pretty proud of the collection. Of course, there are only things, but some of these things I value over some of the other things. And really going to Blade Show, meeting people, and also all the interviews we do here on the show. I'm very interested in handmade or custom knives from the people I'm interviewing. It's awesome. Oh, and by the way, Dave, I got to see Aaron's folders. He had 2. He made 2 folders, the one in his pocket and the one that was auctioned off, and they're awesome. So Aaron Bieber is dipping into folders, and then his other newer fixed blade models are awesome. These all sold out before I even got to see him. So Dave is another Aaron Bieber Knives fan. OG Blade says, Doug Markita met met up with my personal Bikini Tertia instructor at the show. Bill McGrath was there. Wow. Doug did a great interview, and Bill made him tap out a bunch of times in doing a demo of knife disarms. Yeah, Bill McGrath is a legend. I don't know if I would recognize him if I saw him. So it's and that's true for a lot of people in the knife world. So it's and for him, he's like a master colleague teacher. So it's easy, I guess, to miss people if you don't know what they look like, I guess. That's cool seeing him tap out Mark Ida. Keith the Knife Freak says, I got a new design I made in my hands. Ooh, awesome. Prototype made from a Harbor Freight machete. I need to make a few. Ooh, I wonder what that looks like. That sounds awesome. Josh 33025, humping is a dominance thing. It is indeed. Yeah. You just start humping things in people, you're dominating those things in people. Chad, never have wiser words been uttered. Chad, let's see. Kolodachek. I'm going to say Kolodachek. Chad, good to have you here. Can we see that TCal 001 and 002? Hell yes. Hang on. Okay, I'll show them all to you here. I have 3 different versions. Here's the one I carry. I have 2 of these double-edged ones. The other one is upstairs. And then here is the single-edge version of that. And then here's the 002. And then the 00, let's see, there was a 003, which I don't know numbers what they were, but the other blades he had prototypes of. One was a long, slender Tonto, real wicked looking. And then there was something that looks a bit like the Night Stalker. So where is it? I had it out here. Something like this on that handle. That looked really sweet too. I think that's the 3. So yeah, these here they are. And what's so great is if you don't like purple or blue, like blue is what I associate with trainers right now. So I'm thinking of I want to get a trainer. He makes them. I didn't even realize that. You can get a trainer of anything he makes. I'm pretty sure. But I saw Tomas Alas has a trainer of this knife. And so, yeah, I definitely want to get one for noodling around. I'm still not to the point with my Bob dummy, which is like an expensive toy or an expensive training apparatus. Still not into stabbing it yet. I'm sure at some point I'll just start stabbing it with knives. Frankie Frank says it was cool to see your interview with Lynn Thompson. I'm happy to hear he's still trying to stay involved with Cold Steel. We need that. Yeah. That was a very cool. That was my Saturday at Blade Show, because in the morning I went downstairs and I really like this hotel. I've stayed there before and they have a good breakfast. And I saw Lynn Thompson getting breakfast and I walked by him and I said, "Morning, Lynn." And, he recognized me and, "Hey, how you doing?" And that's it. And I just went and sat down, and then he came over and sat with me. And I thought that was really cool. It was nice. And we ended up, just talk. He did a lot of the talking, but really interesting guy. And his buddy, Richard, a guy who works for him / with him, and is one of his students, one of his martial arts students, was there. Very cool guy. Chad says, call a day check. Call a day. Okay. Call a day check. Call a day check is the easiest way to explain my last name. And those are so sick. Thank you. My pleasure, Chad. Call a day check. Call a day check. Call a day check. That's cool. All right. Thank you. I like that. I won't say her name, but I have a colleague that I used to work for, whose name is Italian, and it's really cool, and the meaning of it is really cool, but it's freaking impossible to say. And so I've had to spell it out phonetically to people when I was working for her many times. So it's interesting, and it's like 6 syllables long. Oh, yeah, that's right. Jim's keeping me honest. Let me show you this again real quick. Little random surprise knife giveaway tonight. Thanks to courtesy of Dave, OG Blades. OG Blade Reviews here. He sent this my way to give your way, and it's called the Civivi Typhoeus. Typhoeus. And it feels great in hand. It's really, really nice in hand. But if you're, say, this is what you're doing. Say you're pruning the rose bushes, or you're just picking some flowers, but you notice some people ride up on you, and you very covertly switch into um, this mode, defensive mode, into punch dagger mode. This also feels really, really good. I have not struck anything with this. I have not punched anything with this, but it feels super solid. Even though it doesn't lock, your hand is the lock, and the the blade tang that goes between your fingers is nice and thin, so it's not spreading out your fingers. You're not going to break your knuckles stabbing into things. That's the risk with knuckle things. Anything going between your fingers and rings and all that, you could possibly deglove your finger or break your knuckles, break your bones. So yes, this right here will not break your bones. Certainly not while it's in its sheath like this. Cool little leather sheath. Civivi Typhoeus, #knife in the comment section, and that will get you immediately entered into a random drawing. I'm exhausted. All that being said, I think it's now time to get to a pocket check. This was my major purchase at Blade Show. I knew I wanted to get a nice folder, but I just didn't know what. I think my Microtech fascination has not waned, but I think I got what I wanted, what I was really psyched about getting, and that doesn't mean I won't be back to get more. But I wanted to do something different, and then I saw this. This is the collaboration knife between Alan Olishewitz and Les George, two incredible knife designers. Alan Olishewitz, a generation before Les George, both former Marines. Alan Olishewitz, just by the way, is not only incredibly classy and as is his wife. Like they're just very what's the word? Learned, worldly people. I don't know if that's right, but he's super cool. But he used to be a MARSOC, Marine Special Operations dude, doing all sorts of crazy stuff that they do. And a friend of mine was at the SIG shooting camp last summer in New Hampshire and happened to be partnered up with Alan Olishewitz. Hey, Bob, do you know who Alan Olishewitz is? Yes, man, I know who he is. He's my partner. Check this out. So he, when everyone would go out to do a shooting run on something that was approximating, some sort of a tactical situation, everyone had their tactical gear on, their vests, their drop holsters and all that, and they'd be all tactical. He came out in a blazer and jeans and a like a shoulder holster like Miami Vice, and just outshot everyone. So I think he's incredibly cool, and I think his knife designs and his custom handmade knives, which I got my hands on this year, they're sublime. But so is this integral folder that he designed with Les George, who's also, like I said, a Marine. He was EOD, and very funny guy, gallows humor as long as the day, and a lover of daggers especially, but also the M3 trench knife and the Eck knives. And that's what this is. This is their tribute to the Eck, John Eck combat knives, both dagger and clip point blades that were very popular in Vietnam, and I believe before that as well. But the handle is there. It's the same design with those chamfers, those deep chamfers, and the 3 bolts going down the handle. Here it's integral. This is my very first integral knife, so that's milled out of one slab of titanium. It's very impressive. It feels, it's as solid as you would imagine. A knife handle that's not pieced together. So pretty incredible. It's also my first flame anodized knife handle. Beautiful. But this blade is just insane. I don't even know what the blade steel is. I got to figure that out. But I'm sure it's like M390 or something like that, or Magna Cut or something. But It's so incredibly sharp. This thing is wickedly sharp, and it comes in two different versions. One that's not as one that's more one that doesn't have the bayonet, or they call it a dagger grind, where it's split down the middle. It's got a higher grind and is probably slicier, but this is incredibly slicey, even with that saber grind. Just awesome. I love this thing. I'm really excited about it. It's a pocket shredder for sure, but I just lift up this and slide it on. When this first came out, I thought, oh, I want that so badly, but I was definitely not in a folder mode, and I thought I'll never get that. But seeing it there, I had to, and so I was very excited about that. I haven't gotten that out of my pocket in days. Doug Bowles says, my 48-year-old son and I both black belts have modified our knife training to real world confrontations. I love hearing that. Not only that you guys are both black belts, but that you train together and also aren't just going with what you were taught. You're doing Jeet Kune Do. You're adding what's good for you and making it, you're optimizing it for you. The real trick is, the real tricky part is empty hand on knife. When you see some stuff that some people are taught in martial arts with empty hand training on knife, it doesn't seem realistic to me. So here's to you, and keep at it. Dwayne Letterman, nice to have you here, Dwayne. Howdy, guys, he says. Well, howdy to you, sir. LL Coil J says, hello, everyone. Like a fancy agent double. I'm sorry. Looks like a fancy. Oh, yeah. A100. Yeah. Sorta. But the handle is a John Eck handle all day long. So I think that's the real draw here. I see what you mean profile wise. Yeah. Doug Bull says, #knife. If I should win in the award, you'll award it to another junkie. Oh, nice. Check this one out. This was also in my pocket. I've been carrying this a lot. This is the new American Blade Works slip joint. That's it. That's all it's called. Just the slip joint. But it is freaking awesome. I don't use freaking awesome often. Such language does not come easily to me. But really, this thing is incredible. It reminds me of the Model 2, but small and in slip joint form. So you have that same sort of ribbed texture here, constructed titanium and magna cut. Everything's magna cut now. It's a very nice thing. It's been around for the last 3 blade shows that I've been attending, and each year more and more stuff is in magna cut with less and less fanfare, which is what you want. The less fanfare, the less you have to pay for it. This thing is extremely thin and slicey. If you know Michael Martin's work and how thin he gets his knives, especially the Model 2, this outpaces that by a mile. And just very, very handsome. I love the shape of that sheep's foot blade. It's almost a cleaver. And then the handle is super ergonomic. About 3 fingers here, but this backward slope, like many 3-finger knives, accommodates the pinky for butting the whole blade and stopping it right there. So great. I used this today in the office for breaking down. I mean, it's like smaller boxes, like my I just ran out of coffee, so a big coffee box I broke down, and a couple of other things to include. I had to pack and send something off, so tape, and then cutting out the labels and everything. It is a great little knife. It was only $150, and I know that it sounds that might sound like a lot, and I get it, but for something that was made out of titanium and magna cut, that's at 64.65 or 63.64 Rockwell, I can't remember which, and then made by a single man in Georgia. He's not a single man, he's got a family, which is even better, but better for selling the story. What I'm saying is he doesn't have a big factory or anything like that, and still he can give you this quality for $150. So he sold a lot of these. I know Shane got one. He's the one who tipped me off to him. Bob's Pocket Knives, a fine name. Hang on. A fine name, sir. That's a beautiful modern slip joint. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Bob, keep your eyes peeled on American Blade Works. It's Michael Martin, one maker in his garage, quote unquote. I'm not sure if he's moved out of his garage, but he's got a CNC. I know that. And he just makes incredible modern folders. This is his first slip joint, and it's really nice. And the for his first slip joint, the action is really good. And he's using the kick to stop the knife. It's not a so it is a modern traditional. It is a traditional modern traditional, meaning it doesn't use a stop pin. Pete Davidson says that Eck folder looks much better than the K-bar version. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. I think K-bar botched it. The blade comes up higher than the handle. Yeah. With the K-bar version, you really have to struggle to make it look cool. Like you got to kind of squint and stuff. Steve the Ripper, nice to have you here, Steve. I got an order for the Agent 001 in last night before they went out of stock. Yes, nicely done, sir. Nicely done. I know they're gonna make a bunch of them again. Eck folder is M390. Thank you, sir. M3. Do you have one? You must. I'm pretty sure you must have one. It's a nice one. If you don't, you definitely should, Dave. You would love it. Robert Strebin says, did Leatherman appear at the knife show? Huh. Possibly, but I may have missed him. I just don't remember seeing Leatherman. Craig Vincent, evening, folks. Craig, nice to have you here, as always. Craig, since you're just joining us, be sure to, know that we're midway through the pocket check. And then also #knife today wins you the Civivi Typhoeus. Really cool little knife that goes from non-threatening EDC knife to somewhat threatening punch dagger. Very cool, and it all goes in a beautiful little leather sheath. All courtesy of Dave, OG Blades. #knife in the comment section will possibly win you this. So, Craig, be sure to put #knife down there. All right, so also on me today, which has been on me pretty much constantly, is the Agent 001, as I showed you before, and all weekend it was these two. These are what I carried. It was such a nice combo. Yeah. All right. So the Agent 001 in the forward position, just like I designed it to go, because this was the inspiration. The Night Stalker. I love carrying this on my belt right up front. This is the knife that changed how I carry fixed blades to a great extent. So I wanted to keep that going with the double-edged Agent 001. All right, so for emotional support on me today, I had another new knife, and this is the Rosecraft Easton. 2 ends on the end, Easton, and I'm not sure what that is. I'm sure I'm poking fun at something that's real. It's probably like the name of a river, and it ends in 2 ends. But this is a really cool one, I got to say. I went over to the Rosecraft table booth to check it out, and also introduce myself to Andy Armstrong, and he gave me this when I did. He's going to come on the show, or he expressed interest in coming on the show and talking about Rosecraft blades. I have only had experience up until giving away the Joka a couple of weeks ago with their moderns, and then this one. And this was designed by, I can't remember who, someone involved in the company, but like adjacent, like a family member or something like that. Don't quote me. There's nothing to quote, but what a great fidgety knife this is. I like it a lot. There's one thing I don't like about it, is that it widens out right here at the heel. So it's a pretty oblique edge already, because it's a saber ground, flat ground. So it's only half of the blade that's sharpened, and it's flat. It's a flat bevel. So it's pretty thick behind the edge. So the edge has to be wicked sharp. Back here, right at the heel, it widens out too much. So I'm going to have to sharpen through that a little. Not a big deal. It's AR RPM 9 steel. It should be easy enough to work through. And it has other than that, it has a pretty luxe feel, I got to say. contoured G10 is very nice. I like this Rosecraft clip. It's pretty discreet, except it says Rosecraft on it. But I like how it sits in the handle, and I like the shape of it. And the button lock is excellent. And I've spine whacked it, and it's done fine thus far. So that's what I had on me today. All new stuff. And I look at that lineup, and I'm very, very grateful. Look at that. That's awesome. I'm a lucky guy. What do you guys have on you? I know you all have something that's near and dear to you, whether it's a $50 Rosecraft or a $400 folding knife. That's pretty much what this was. I'm not sure if I got a deal or not, but that's what they cost there, and so I was happy it was within my budget. All right, what'd you guys have? And as you're mustering that up, I talked to Ben Belkin. He's going to be coming up on the show again soon. I talked to him about designing fixed blades because that's what I love. Have a Knife Day says, made it home. I wasn't driving fast, but was flying low. Nicely done, sir. Yeah, I'm glad you're home safe. And now you can transition to the home radio. Gus Beck, nice to have you here, Gus. Excuse me. I carried the Hinderer Project X. I want that knife. Carried the Hinderer Project X and the Benchmade Bailout in 3V with aluminum scales from Applied Weapons Technology. Very nice. So does that disinclude the somewhat obtrusive lanyard mounting point? Have a Knife Day says, I didn't see Leatherman at the show either. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them at the show. LL Coil J said, do you call your 001? Well, no, for the mere reason that it's double-edged. So I don't have to call my 001. But I have noticed that the with the 002, where is it? It's very nice. It feels very nice in the hand to call. If I had to fight reverse grip with this knife, it's highly likely I would turn it around in this grip. And if you want to cap it, you can still cap it. But if you don't, it also feels really good. Of course, you can do this as well. But yeah, would I call this single edged if I needed to? Yeah, easily, and it would work great. I mean, presumably, I haven't done it yet, but I think it would work great because it really locks in hand. OG Blade says, carrying the Remet Swordfish gravity knife. Yeah, I played with those at the Remet booth. Nice guy behind that, by the way. So you know, Dave, your money is going to a good place, seemingly. Presumably. Microtech Cypher 2 OTF. That thing is gorgeous. I saw you just posted a video of that today. I got to catch up with that. This is Dave has a bunch of Microtechs in raw aluminum, which is so cool. Viper Handy, awesome fixie. Yeah, I saw that one. Bastinelli Safe Folder and Magnacut. Oh yeah. Pinkerton ringed inversion and Reich made carbon buckhorn incoming. Ooh, nice. Dirk had to cancel his attendance to Blade Show for unseen unforeseen circumstances. But he said someone was going to come with a bunch of his stuff, but I didn't see his table, and it was supposed to be at his normal spot, and it said so on the map, and he wasn't there. I didn't see it. I was ready to spend some money on some Pinkerton stuff. I love his work. And he was going to have a ringed inversion there just for Blade for one lucky guy. Stephen Clayton Jr., Remnant Alliance Scourge, TCAL Agent 001, the Warthog, the TS-87, that's that screwdriver, right? With the ring. FLN, he's got 3. He really does. By the way, I had him show me where all these go. And yep, he's got 3 FLNs on him. The Combatant, the Gideon 3. That is a cool knife. I like the Gideon a lot. The Guardian, the Night Stalker CG, the FMF, the Accomplice, the MR1, the Midgard's Messer Mini Axe. That's pretty cool. Yeah, man, Midgard's Messer, not really my cup of tea, but I really love that there's someone doing that stuff. Just like You got to love how Cold Steel makes the big giant folders. Well, you got to love how they make the big giant folders. They're just big and giant in different ways. Nice to have you here, Greg Vanderlip, CRKT CEO from CB Tactical. I love that CEO. Excuse me, the RCB Rosecraft Blades, Mohawk, Rough Rider, Coal Miner, and Trevisa Lynx. Trevisa is the one I'm not really that familiar with. Trevisa, I've seen Nick and Jared do videos of them, but I've never held those in my hand before. Bob's Pocket Knife says, I had a CJRB Pyrite, a fine choice, and a Case Sodbuster, also a fine choice, Junior, in my pockets today. I have the yellow Delrin with the carbon steel Case Sodbuster Junior, and that's a great knife, super solid, and man, does it get wickedly sharp. Miss Told, nice to have you here, Miss Told. Thanks, Chad, for letting us know this was on. I love that. Well, welcome. Steve says, I carried my Scarab 2 signature DLC double edge. Very nice. So does your Scarab double edge, does that mean it's asymmetrical? Ooh, it's double-edged, but it's not a dagger, right? And does it have the little vents by the ricasso so that water can go in and out when you're underwater and you're doing underwater demolition? I think that's so freaking cool. The Scarab is a cool knife, I gotta say. And that's an old one. I remember when I first discovered Microtech in like the mid 90s through books at Barnes and Noble. And when they had the automatic Hawkbill and that automatic recurve Tonto, they had some really cool knives back then. Well, the Scarab was their out the front knife. And yeah, I read all about it, how you're supposed to use it underwater, and very cool. LL Coil J says Strider PT and Coyote Brown. Man, I love Striders too. I got the one Strider, and I feel like that could tide me over because they're pretty expensive, and I don't carry the one I have that much, but I see them sometimes and I'm like, oh, that would look nice in my hand. Miss Told says, Bob, great meeting you in Atlanta at T-Kel's booth. It was great meeting you. Now I'm trying to remember who exactly you were. Miss Told. That's the problem with the one-way face-to-face like this. But I know that I met a number of like 3 or 4 really awesome people, like a couple more than that maybe, at the TKL booth. So it was great to meet you too. Are you the C-Lock guy? Jeremy Nedro, I have to work in the morning, but wanted to tell everyone hello and have a great night. Jeremy, thanks for dropping in, man. I appreciate that. You have a good night too. Don't drink coffee right up till bedtime like I do, because it'll give you crazy dreams. I don't dream anymore. I don't know. I think it might be a family trait. My dad doesn't dream much either. I'm like a computer. I go to sleep. In the morning, I wake up. That's it. Gary Jurowski, ProTech Magic 2. Gary, have you seen the other ProTechs that came out? The Sinkovich ProTech. That's a nice looking knife. I met Dmitry Sinkovich, introduced myself to him this weekend, invited him on the show. I'm not sure how well that will go. He claims to think that he's not very good at English. He sounded fine to me, but then so we'll see. I'll try. He's one of my favorite designers. I see anything he does, I'm like, God, it's so good, so like inherently beautiful, and just a great sense of line. Miss Told says, oh, NAF's Lander 2 and others. And others. I like that. Yeah, the NAF's Lander. That's so the 2 is the bigger one, right? Derek Poppenhagen. Good to have you here, Derek. I have a Piranha and Combatant and Pocket Tango. All right, I know the Piranha. I don't have that one. Very nice little knife. Combatant I love, especially the new iteration of the Combatant. And then did you see, or I should say, the Combatant has 2 knives, 2 different blades coming out on the Combatant in prototype phase. One is a great Tonto, and one of them is an absolutely spectacular Wharncliffe. You know, like a true Wharncliffe with a continuous curve from the thumb swale down to the tip. It's very, very nice. They were all 3D printed, so you could check them out. And Jeremy Nedro says, I was carrying a Spyderco Tenacious in CPM M4. I love that. I need to get a Tenacious in a nice steel because it's such a great knife. and I put titanium scales on it and put an entropic ano on it. I don't know what that is. What's an entropic ano? That sounds pretty cool. I like the shipwreck ano. Anything like that? I stripped my Ultratech to aluminum raw, says Miss Told. How did you do that? Is that, do you sand away that, or is it a electrochemical process to get rid of the anodization on aluminum? Jesse, nice to have you here, Jesse, with that crow plucking out eyes. Evening all, he says. Well, evening to you, sir. Keith says, carried the new tactile Chupacabra. Great knife. That is a great knife. A little bigger and heavier than I like to carry for work, but I really love this knife. I love the blade on that knife. I have one little beef with the knife. It could be a little easier to hold on to the locking tab. It seems to slope in a way that kind of should be sloping in the opposite direction. But it hasn't dampened my enthusiasm for that knife, because that blade is so spectacular, and it's all in a more affordable package. Craig Vincent says, carried the AD10, the serrated Vaquero. Speak of the devil. That's what I got in my pocket right now. Love this knife. Oh, Lynn Thompson always has 2 of these on him. 2. And then he's got a lot more other stuff. And then some stuff he won't tell you what he has on. Okay. Carried the AD10, the serrated Vaquero, American Lawman, and the Code 4 Spear Point. Sorry, that was an ode to Slicey Dicey. He used to do that. Civivi Typhoeus Titanium, the Shaman, the Tenacious in S35VN, yet again, a Tenacious in a luxury steel. The CMB Predator, that's a great knife. A little heavier than expected, but I like it a lot. Steel Warrior Doctor's Knife, the Ned Foss Cougar, Fred Perrin La Daga. Oh, nice. I was looking at Fred Perrin knives today. He's another guy who I've met before, and this weekend I talked with him for about 15 minutes. With him and Zach Wingard of Wingard Wearables, who was there, had a great table set up. And Fred Perrin is such a cool dude. He's probably late 60s, just a tall, lanky, badass. And we were talking, and he's French, and he's a former commando and martial arts specialist and edged weapons guy. And he had this cool little small little handmade butterfly knife with a Warncliffe blade that he was like being all surreptitious with. And we were talking about different techniques. He did something so cool. He was talking about trapping the foot, like different techniques that are you see across a lot of martial arts, and one of them is head control, and one of them is trapping the foot. So he trapped my foot and did head control, and it was just cool. Whenever you do something like that with someone who's like martial arts done by someone who's been doing it forever, like Dave was talking about, Bill McGrath, or Dave himself, been doing it forever. You can feel a master when they're manipulating you, and it was just kind of cool. But we were talking about all sorts of improvised weapons and spikes. He likes spikes better than knives. Less blood. Like, oh man, we're having this conversation. I love it. No, but for real, that's what he was saying. Less blood with a spike than with a knife. So if that's your consideration. Will B says, had the Olamic Soloist. Oh my God, chef's kiss. Will sent me pictures of his Olamic Soloist, and it is gorgeous, really beautiful. And it's got that Statue of Liberty ano on it, that just anodization that is just so lovely to me. That high voltage green looks like tarnished copper. Love that. Microtech Amphibian, the Wee Ziphius, the Kaiser Begleiter XL, the Miguron Valona Axial Shift, Tekel Night Stalker CQC, Olight Baton 3, and Karis Bolt V2. Very cool. Will oftentimes has his Grimsmo Norseman. I went to the Grimsmo table and briefly met those guys, and mostly just saw their knives, which were they're really cool. I got to manipulate like certain very early models and then a later one. Pretty cool. Cheeto the Lost Ark. What's up, junkies? Cheeto, always a pleasure. Nice to have you joining us. Jesse, Concept Egress. Love that knife. That's the the Niche Designs knife. I was wearing his T-shirt with all the blade steels one of the days there. Matriarch 2, ORJ Warncliffe, ORJ, Ohio River Jack Warncliffe, the Mini Champ Swiss Army knife. Very nice. I love the Mini Champ. Have a Knife Day says, got a last minute deal at the Boker booth, Fox Bastinelli Creations FX 537 SW Greco Flipper. I'm sorry, Gecko Flipper knife. 3.35 inches N690 CO, stonewash blade, canvas micarta, stonewash titanium handles, frame lock. Okay, Gecko. Is that the one that's got kind of a peaked wave? It's got. Describe it a little bit more. Always had a good one to last. Always good to do a last hour walkthrough for any last minute deals. That is for sure. You know what? I only think you get the deals at the bigger places. That's something I should think about next time. Greg Vanderlip, nice to have you here, Greg. Oh, I already greeted you, Greg, but it's still nice to have you here. Hayes, yeah, is my first Trevisa. It was a nice. Nice was a gift from Kaleidoscope of Knives. He won it in the Neves giveaway. Sometimes those are the best. The knives that you receive just for free, like this one right here, which we need to give away. Jonathan Ocampo, nice to have you here, Jonathan. 8015 Light, Leatherman Sidekick, Kaiser Kabox, Olight Warrior 3, and the Karasuando Hatchet. I don't know it, but I like the name of it, Karasuando. Split and Slices, got to get some shuttle. Oh, some shut eye. Gotcha. Thanks, Junkie. See you next week. Bye. Byron, have a fine evening, sir. It's been a long road. Get yourself some sleep. Frankie Frank says, carried the Cold Steel Espada G10. Pretty much all I need, no doubt. Quick question, Bob. Did you pass the Work Tough gear and check out any new large knives? Yes, and I actually just sent Victor, I can't remember his last name, but Victor of Work Tough Gear. I sent him an invite to the show today because we spoke and he wants to come on the show. Not only that, but he wants to send me stuff, which is cool. That said, there was a Puzon Bowie there, and none of the other Bowies were there, but there was the Puzon Wilderness Bowie, and I met Mr. Puzon. He is very cool, very nice guy. And yeah, I love the Work Tough Gear stuff, and I'm excited to get stuff from them and talk to him about it. Interesting business. Pizza Lover Forever. I love that name because it's true. We all are. Do you own any Shivworks knives? Unfortunately, no. But there are two that I want for sure. I want the clinch pick, the second iteration of the clinch pick with the flat sides, flat handles, and also a trainer. And I would also like to get the one that I think he did with Warrior Poet Society. It's also a pick call, but instead of an egg-shaped handle, it's more of just a regular shaped handle. So cool knife. But I do like those Shivworks knives. All right, let's give this away, shall we? All right, one more time. Let me show this under here. So you got this really cool transforming handle. So you have a regular knife in hand like this, a clip point blade, very, very nice blade, actually nice and thin. This thing is rock solid, by the way. And then it transforms into a really useful and handy punch dagger for those moments that you just not sure what's going to happen. So it all goes in this leather sheath, and it could be yours if you put #knife in the comments. Let's do this, Jim. In 3, 2, and 1. All right, here we go. We have a good amount of people here who signed up tonight. That's cool. Craig Vincent. There you go, Craig. It's all yours. Craig, you're a lucky man. I think you won something just recently. Craig, or maybe I'm mistaken about that. No. Craig and I did a trade recently. Yes, Craig, this is yours. Congratulations, man. I'm sure I have your address, but maybe you want to give it to me just in case. so I don't have to chase it down. TheKnifeJunkie.com TheKnifeJunkie@gmail.com will do it, and I will get this off to you post haste, sir. Thanks to Dave for contributing this to this show. All right, before I get to some of the stuff that I got at Blade Show, besides what I had in my pockets today, I want to show the new Jack Wolf Knives fixed EDC. Now, I have not, I didn't even tell Jim I was going to pull this out because you know what? It was in my back pocket all day and I forgot all about it. And that's something that's great. This is a great little fixed blade for people who are not fixed blade people and maybe want to become fixed blade people. It's a great pocket fixed blade carry. I had it in my back pocket. You can carry it up front too. You can drop it in the pocket. Doesn't need to go over. But something that was very important to Ben in designing this was to have a strong clip. And so this one is wickedly strong. It's not going to pull the sheath out with it as you pull out the blade. The sheath itself is very nice, high grain leather. And then if you look at it, it's meant to be ambidextrous. So you can put it in either way. Now the knife itself is cool because it is small. Here, I'll show it with a couple of its cousins. Here it is with the after hours jack. And then here it is with the original, well, not the original iteration of it, but here it is with the after hours. No, the midnight jack. So you might be able to tell here, it's got the same length blade as the midnight jack, but is substantially smaller in the handle. He wanted to get the whole thing into 6 inches he wanted this to be like an open slip joint that had a better blade to handle ratio in terms of not being overall too long, something that you wouldn't be hesitant to drop in your pocket. So he made the handle a little bit smaller. And for me, it's 3.5 fingers, but then with that lanyard post there, and I put a little double knotted piece of leather cord there, you get a little bit more surety in hand here if you want to choke back a little bit. But just a knife, I'm loving this thing. Not that I didn't expect to, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. Kind of wish it was a slip joint, but hey, what do you know? But I've actually really been enjoying carrying this. So the 3 days since I've been home from Blade, because this came while I was gone, I've been carrying this, but only today was it in my back pocket. And this is how I like to carry it. Left back pocket with the bandana. And the one thing you do have to be careful about, though, if you have a lanyard, is it can snag on things. Now, the fit is pretty, it's pretty nice fit in there, but it can snag on something, or people can grab it easier. So you want to be careful. I was not walking through the city with this in my back pocket or anything like that. I was at work and home and that kind of thing. So you just want to be careful about where you choose to do that if you're gonna have the knife in your back pocket and out of sight but in sight of others. That's something to consider. This one has a stonewash blade and the first micarta in quite some time. Really nice, tightly woven linen micarta with a very, very nice, deep black dye job, and then nicely polished with bronze hardware. I took the scale off to put this lanyard on. Did it in minutes. It was very easy. There are 4 other versions of that knife, of this fixed EDC, and it's, let's see, titanium with the sort of Chris Reeve radiating radial pattern, and ultim, and which is kind of cool because you can see the skeletonization of the handle, and then a couple of others, the carbon fibers and stuff. I just can never keep my carbon fibers straight with them, but very, very cool knife. I'm very much loving it, and yeah. Stay tuned for a conversation about developing this thing, because it was, if you know Ben, he's a perfectionist and he took his time doing it. All right, next up, I want to show you these. These are the things that I went really looking for. These Spooky Pockets brass knuckles. because you've seen these. I've shown these off here. Those are the 3D printed versions of these. These are the ones I got first. These are awesome. Knuckle dusters that allow you to do other things like reload your weapon or hold something in your hand, but also allows you to make a tight fist and punch straight without having it roll in your hand. Also great for a hammer fist. So using this portion or raking across the face or body or ribs with these spikes here. Really, really nice. Very, very lightweight. And that's the benefit to these. Very lightweight. You can drop it in your pocket. You can drop it in shorts pockets and forget all about it until perhaps you needed it. Here's the paperweight version of this. And man, it fits just as well. Feels even better because it's cool brass and it's smoother and it just feels really good in hand. And these things, you punch the bob dummy with this and you just feel that extra weight really carries it. It really carries it. And you don't have to do much to make an impression with these things, I would imagine. But I love the fact that you can hit them with the side. You can just glance, rake, do all sorts of stuff with them. Plus, they're just beautiful brass knuckle dusters, just like classic. So had to have these. I knew they were going to be at the Copus Designs booth because it's the brother of the guy who started Copus Designs does these. So really psyched about this. I also saw that he has a new design that I'd like to get first, at least in the 3D printed version. And Jonathan Ocampo says 80-15 light Leatherman. Oh yeah, we got this. That with that hatchet. Okay, next. Kind of in the same vein of implement of chaos, not quite a knife, but knife adjacent, is this Revenant Corp Stay Ready Sharpie protection tool. So it's a Sharpie, but instead of a felt tip portion of the pen, it is coned. It is rounded G10. So that's a G10 spike. And this thing could do a hell of a lot of damage. This one is in lavender. I think my camera is making it look blue, but it's lavender. And the gentleman I bought this from, Revenant Core, I follow him on Instagram. They do a lot of cool G10 knives and G10 weapons. He suggested, because I was hemming and hawing, should I get black or red? Or he said, get a color you don't actually use so that there's no mistaking it for a real Sharpie. And I thought that was sage advice. So I got this lavender, and as soon as I got on the airplane, it went right in my pocket, right here. Right in my pocket protector. But yeah, loosened the cap so I could just, flip it off if need be and jam it in a terrorist's eye or something, whatever you're going to do with this thing. So very cool. I love this. My wife wants me to get a whole bunch of them, get one for everyone in the family. I'm like, oh, sure. Why not? Cool American business making things we all need. So why not? We could all use a stabby Sharpie. Angry Tom's hat next door. Nice to have you here. Yo, everyone, he says. Angry Tom, it's a pleasure having you here. Bob says, what's the best belt for carrying 10 knives? Yeah, exactly. I think you got to get one of those heavy-duty nylon tactical belts and suspenders. Pete Davidson's not trying to be crass, but have you seen the Fred Perrin coin purse? It doubles as a sap and looks like an awesome defensive tool. Yep, that was one of the things he said he carries all the time. That and a little knife. He's not into big weapons. He's like, and that, yeah, it's a little coin purse that you fill up with euros or whatever and slap someone like it's a sap. Have a Knife Day says, I also saw Lynn. I kind of fanboyed for a hot minute. I missed the guy. Always enjoyed the parking lot events and hanging out with the community. How cool. I never went to one of those. I would have loved to have gone to one of those. Doug Bull. Bob, I have an old 90-pound kickboxing bag wrapped and secured a layer of carpet around it, swinging it, cutting and slicing with different knives. The reverse grip was the most secure and effective. I believe that. That's kind of what has come out of all of those swinging pig tests. Shane, how you doing? Blade Show was a fail. I didn't get to hang out with Bob. That's true. We only saw each other in passing, and you showed me this, and I ran and got one. I didn't run, but I got one. So not a total fail, but Shane, next year we got to make an appointment. We got to make we got to make a date and a time to meet. Angry Tom says, I just got my Kershaw Redbone Barlow Culpeper. Redbone. Those are cool. Those are really cool. The Culpeper's a great knife. I got one right here. Just in G10. Have a knife day. What are you doing? Shucks. If you could bring back one discontinued knife from Cold Steel, what would it be? Okay, I got a couple, and I saw one, and I didn't get it because it's not top on my list. All right, and now I don't remember the name, but have a knife day. You might be able to know. But I'll start with the ones I do. The Desperado. That's the egg-handled 5-inch Vaquero fixed blade from the 80s and 90s. I'd bring that back. I'd bring back the Black Rhino, with the polished bolsters, polished black G10. It looks kind of like a big locking clasp knife. And then the last one I would bring back is a Bowie. This is the one I saw there. And damn it, if I don't remember what it was called, but it has a craton handle, and it has a blade that reminds me of a British Bowie knife. What's the hell? It's just because I'm trying to think of it now. I can't remember what the hell it's called, but the swedge goes up the clip and then back the spine about a little third. And it was around in the early 90s, maybe up to mid 90s. And I saw one there, and it was in pristine condition, and I kept walking, and now it's lost to time, but that was a cool one. Don't remember what it was called though, and that will drive me nuts now. So since you're talking about Cold Steel, I will salute you with a Cold Steel. One of my favorites, the Laredo Bowie. I mean, the Natchez Bowie. I'm such an idiot. The Natchez Bowie. The Laredo is also a favorite, but I love this. It's a Musso style, so it's got that sort of upsweep and this long sharpened swedge. That's a 0 ground swedge. So you do that on someone's arm as it comes in with a blade. Do a snap cut like that. You're yawning open a giant wound on their forearm. And it's not even shaving sharp, but this side is for sure. Beautiful micarta handles on this one. The only thing I wish, and I said this to Lynn Thompson. I said, Lynn, baby, he doesn't exert much influence over there. But I said, I wish they would go back to the leather sheaths with the stud that you could slide into your belt. And he said he's gonna be hooking up with some leather company that's gonna start making them for this and the Laredo, possibly. But anyway, I love this knife. What a great fighting Bowie design, and of course, masterfully produced, mass-produced by Cold Steel. So, something to be said there. All right, Michael, this is to you, sir. Thank you. A little swim by. Love this thing. So does anyone remember the knife I'm trying to now I'm going to have to figure it out. It's pretty cool though. Pretty cool. This Cold Steel Bowie. Have a Knife Day says mine would be the Black Rhino. Yes. Folder in aluminum and black. Neat blade shape. Yep. I'm with you 100%. Edgy American says, Bob, this American Blade Works Slippy changed my mind about slip joints. Maybe one day I will change my mind about Bowies. Yes. Well, as an edgy American, a Bowie knife should be something that you like just out of principle, sir. No, but I know you're not fond of the kind that widen out, that start thinner and get wide, like the classic V44. Craig Vincent says, holy cow, I never win. Thanks, Bob. My pleasure, man. My pleasure. I know I have your address somewhere, but again, just send it to me. Happy to be sending this along to you. I know you're a huge collector of cold steel, so it's always nice to expand, especially when it's something that's unexpected, you know. Steve says, I want those knucks in aluminum. They look perfect. So he had them in, yeah, they are. And so I've given them to some people like Matt Chase, who's got big hands, and they like just barely got over his knuckles. For me, they're perfect. And so they make them in aluminum, brass, and aluminum, brass, and something else. I think 3 metals. But yeah, check them out. Spooky Pockets, and you can also go through Copus Designs, I believe. Dom Bond, nice to have you here, Dom. Hey guys, he says. Well, hey to you, sir. Dom says, just what I need. What's this? A little knife junkie after a long day. Right on, Dom. I love hearing that. Pour yourself a little glass of knife junkie. Angry Tom says, those are called knuckle dusters. Yes. Yeah. And I learned that from these guys. I'm pretty sure I learned that from this is the Station 9. These knuckle dusters are really good too. These are based on what the Austro-Hungarian army in World War II carried. Bob's pocket knife, Sharp E. Yeah, exactly. Is that what it's called? Sharp E. Yeah, Sharpie. So yeah, these things here are similar kind of thing where you can make a real fist. I like these, but the spooky pockets I like even better. Pete Davidson says, love that G10 spike. Is what the cold steel pocket shark should be. Oh yeah, you're right. Have you seen the brush? They have like a hairbrush that kind of looks like it came out of a back pocket of a girl in the 1980s, but it's a big like hairbrush, and then you can pull out the handle, and it's a stabby thing. Angry Tom, those are Sharpie. Are those Sharpies available? Yeah, I think he made a ton of them. He still had some when I left, and I know they're very popular. So yeah, check him out. Follow him on the gram. Revenant Core. Here, I'll hold this up so you can see it. Revenant Core. Very nice guy. And he was a great Revenant Core. He was really good salesman. Hey, he was he wasn't pushy, but he was really good at reeling you in, getting you buying his stuff and then moving you along. It was good. He was good. Edgy American, my wife carries a Sharpie and a cold steel hideout. Ooh, nice. So she does carry the Sharpie. Oh, that's awesome. Pete Davidson, that Bowie was called the Bush Ranger. Oh, yes. Yes, sir. The Bush Ranger. Yes. Thank you. Yes, I saw a Bush Ranger. It looked like new old stock or like very unused. And what a cool knife. It reminds me of Sheffield. It reminds me of a Sheffield Bowie. I couldn't think of Sheffield before. But yeah, I would bring that one back. So those 3. The Bushmaster, and the Black Rhino, and the Desperado. Todd Carr, evening everyone. Evening to you, Todd Carr. You have an incoming joker, sir. Well, it's via Lefty. Edgy American says, Bob, how wrong would I be if I named one of my knives the Scion if it's not actually a dagger? Well, do you mean Scion like Scion-do? But that's not a dagger. The little sock thing? That's not a dagger. That's a single-edged knife. Is that what you're talking about? Otherwise, I don't know. Scion. So Shane's been making knives too, which is really cool. You can see some of that action happening on Instagram. So I gotta say, like, I take exception to the single-edged cold steel, or the single-edged Spyderco dagger called the Nightstick. It's so stupid. It's stupid on a number of reasons. It's a beautiful looking dagger, but then they single-edged it, which to me just it's a non-entity at this point. But they call it the Nightstick, and I get it at night, and you stick it in someone. But Nightstick to me is a blunt object. It's a bludgeon, and here you have a dagger that's got one edge called the bludgeon, and I don't know, that the whole thing there just didn't work for me. Robert Strebin, have you ever seen a glass slash all transparent knife? If not, could one be made? I haven't seen glass. I know that Microtech has done an all clear Ultratech, and it hasn't been glass, but it's been clear, high impact plastic material. And then I've also seen Ultim, but those have been one sided. I know that there have been fully clear Ultratechs. Suave P, nice to have you here, Suave. Who doesn't like a Bowie? I know. I love that's Shane, but he's good people. I love a good big Bowie, and my recent obsession has been pocket-sized Bowies. Yes, sir. Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. Oh, I don't have any out right now. This one's kind of a this clip point I think is pretty cool. It's kind of a clip point, kind of a Warncliffe, and definitely fits in the pocket. Doug Bull says, Bob, were you referring to the English Sheffield Bowies? Yes, sir, I was. Thank you for helping me there. I was referring to that Bushmaster Bowie. Really cool. That would have been a cool one to do with a non, it had the Craton handle and Craton guard. That would be a cool one to give the fancy treatment, give it a polish micarta handle and a satin blade and some sort of a cross guard, real cross or metal cross guard. Craig Vincent says, Bob, I scored at auction a vintage 1980s Montana Seiki Japan Takfukata folding hunter backlock. It looks an awful like a buck 110 or a Schrade LB7. I don't know the Montana brand. Should I be excited? What would excite me about this is the Seiki Japan part. Because the Seiki Japan was and is, but in the 80s was a powerhouse making a lot of, they made like Almar knives, some cold steel knives, some Spyderco knives are still made in Seiki City, but that, it's one of the blade making capitals of the world. So on that front, I'd say that's kind of exciting, but I've never heard of Montana. But that sounds cool. As long as you didn't like spend a whole bunch of money on something you don't know about, but I'm sure you didn't. Was Station 9 at Blade? No, not this year. They were there 2 years ago. But Fred Perrin at the table he was at, I saw that there was they had a couple of Station 9 products out, but no, not for real. My daughter wants the hairbrush. Yes, Miss Told says. So Miss Told, I saw that Cold Steel put out a short with that young woman that they do some marketing with, T. I guess she's a friend of Stickman, and she's like brushing her beautiful blonde hair, and then there's a Bob dummy or some sort of torso right there. It just jams it right into him. It's pretty cool. She'll love it. But yeah, what a great way to keep yourself safe and coiffed. Doug Bull says Musso Boy used by Jason Patrick is my favorite. Oh, in the Alamo movie. Frankie Frank, Cold Steel Storm Cloud in a fixed blade style, and Cold Steel Corsican would be cool. Oh, I forgot about the Corsican. That was cool. That was a sort of an odd stiletto, long, thin stiletto, just meant for stabbing. And it's similar to, now that I think about it, I have the Rondell dagger from them, which is a European Middle Eastern dagger that was pulled out when they got in the clinch, and the sword and the mace are on the ground, and now they're just like trying to stab daggers through the holes in gaps in the armor. That is an all stabbing implement, unless you're gonna, because it's in cross section, it's triangular and it's got 3 deep hollow grinds. So those hollow grinds come together at 3 edges. They're very oblique. So if you hit someone really hard on the forearm, you would split the skin, but it wouldn't be a nice cut. It would just be a nasty split. Craig Vincent says, love the Bush Rangers. Bush Ranger, that's what it is, not Master. Bush Ranger. Remember, Bob, Bush Ranger. Love the Bush Ranger, both regular and the Tylite. Oh, that new signature series. That I see that kind of looks like the Bush Ranger. Pete Davidson, hey Craig, some of those old Seiki model Takfukuta Knives are great, blatant ripoff designs, but don't most knives look similar these days? Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the oldest tool, as we like to say. Skion is Irish, for knife, but it was typically a dagger. No, Shane, I think you call it whatever you want. Uh, by the way, are you Irish or is this appropriation? You might have to worry about that. But luckily, there are no real cancel mobs uh, in the knife world, I don't think. Angry Tom says, I just looked. Those Sharpies are available, $30. I'm going to pick up a couple. Thank you very much. Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. Tell him the Knife Junkie sent you. Just kidding. He doesn't know me from a hill of beans. But yeah, $30. That was the table cost. So you're getting a good deal, or I didn't get a good deal. Ray Herman says, when you make your two knotted lanyards, make the first knot far enough away from the handle for a reverse grip. That way it's locked into your hand. If you're talking to me about my lanyard, yeah, this works perfectly for me. That's why I like two, because you can always lock between the second one, especially in forward grip. Yeah. Lanyards I like. But I like in this knife I'll leave it on. But lanyards I really like them until I can't stand them and I cut them off. And oftentimes I return to the same knife and put different lanyards on them. Doug Bull says, Bob, as a retired law enforcement officer, we learned a nightstick was a baton carried on night watch, just like cop was slang for constable on patrol. Okay, but my point is still that a nightstick is a baton. It's a blunt thing, whereas calling a dagger a nightstick, just silly. Baton carried at night watch, just like cop was slang for constable on patrol. I did not know that. I always heard it was like for copper, for the copper badge or something like that. Constable on patrol. I like that. Thank you for your service, both military and law enforcement who may be watching. It's amazing to me how many people I talk to on the show who are former military or former law enforcement or current, and how grateful I am for both, because I am acutely aware, especially where I live, of how immediate chaos would descend without you guys, like immediate. Here, I mean, it's just barely at bay. Pete Davidson says there was some awesome knives and designs coming from Seki in the 80s and 90s. G96 brand Frost Cutlery. I had some Frost. They were like the Civivi of the 80s. Yeah, you're right. I had a really cool hollow-handled Frost, survival knife. I had some cool knives from them. And then a couple of, I'm 75% Irish, 25% redneck. Right on. All right. Well, then you can do whatever you want with your language. I'm just kidding. You could anyway. I don't think it's crazy. I think if you name a knife something like that, and it's a knife that frequently is associated with a certain type of knife, but you're making a different knife, you can do that all you want. Just be ready for the questions, because they'll come and they'll never stop. Robert Strevin says, how do you feel about a bug out bag? I feel very great about it. Do you have one or recommend people to have one ready just in case? Absolutely, Robert. Without hesitation. I have one in my car. So does my wife. That's like a get home bag. I not that far from my workplace, but it would take me a hell of a long time to walk home if I had to. And I almost had to in 2011 in a snowstorm, and everything was shut down. It was crazy. I was glad I had that in my car. But at home, it depends. When I lived in Manhattan and when I lived in Brooklyn, you better believe I had it packed and ready to go all the time. Here, I say here, I mean living in a house now, because those were apartments, living like smack dab in the middle of city. But here, living in the suburbs, I do still have the bug out bags, in the car, the get home bags, and I still have my big bug out bag and my wife's bug out bag in a closet. But I'm more into, since I don't think I would be leaving if I had to leave the home, we have the bags ready. We also have crates ready, storable food and survival kits that can help you last at least 72 hours, especially if you're not on a local list for people who might need extra assistance in emergency. It's going to take a while. I live in a jurisdiction with really, pretty on point emergency services. And I know it would take other, but I also live around a hell of a lot of people. So to service everyone would take a very long time. So you got to be self-sufficient, enough to have enough food and water to last you a couple of, 3, 4, 5 days longer, and or means to filter water if you need to go beyond that. And storable food, get some of that Patriot Supply stuff. It's tasty enough. Leave it packed away. You can leave it away for 25 years, and if you need it, you lose your job or whatever, or there's a disaster, you got it right there. But hell yes, get a bug out bag. And there are lots of resources online that can help you craft it. You also want to make sure you have medicine. If you're someone who takes medicines, or you have a pet that takes medicine, you want to make sure you have a supply of that stuff. And say, like me, I wear glasses, not here because I'm so close to the camera, I don't need them. But I have extra pair of glasses and all that kind of stuff. So just stuff that would make life easier if you had to bug out for a short period of time. I mean, you might live somewhere where there are floods or hurricanes. I'd say definitely have all that stuff. But Pete, I'm sorry, I missed what Pete said. Oh, well, this is great right here. Your monthly subscription for hand-picked outdoor survival EDC and other cool gear from expert team of outdoor professionals. KnifeJunkie.com/battlebox. And if you're interested in BattleBox, you can check out Cutlery Lover. He's been subscribed to BattleBox for years, and they're always cool. Boxes come with, there's always a knife or two in there, and then other survival kind of stuff, all based around a theme. Pete says, I have to be careful with lanyards. The cat gets a hold of them, pulls the tool out, and tears around the house with it. Oh, God. Spidey holes really annoy him. That's pretty funny. Just see a cat running around with a knife like... Bob, I sent a picture of the Skion. Crazy Irish didn't put a guard on a double. I know. I love that. Yeah. Well, I think oftentimes those were used in reverse grip with the thumb on top, or as this is something that a couple of times I've talked with Lynn Thompson. He's brought this up, and he's brought this up in other videos. And let's see, he did this with I showed him the agent, and he was like, immediately he always goes to this like kind of hold where he's either choking back here, like he was like, oh, this is great, this little thing goes right there. And I was like, well, no, it doesn't, it goes right there. And he's like, yeah, but really it goes there because you don't have much of a guard, and this is backing into your palm and into your, it gives you control on your pinky. And so I wonder if the ski undo was held like that a lot, like with those short handles without guards. Was it more butted into the palm instead of like a traditional grip like this, more like this? That's what he likes to do. To me, it's awkward, but I believe him. Oh yeah. Do I have it around? I don't have it right here, but Jim just put up a graphic, so I want to let you know we're going to do a Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway next week. And it's not this, it's the companion piece to this, the Trinity, the Eutectic Trinity, designed by Liang Ma, and it's his Eutectic line, which is a Liang Ma design within reach. So, and inexpensive. I think these are about $85 compared to like the $500 Riot made knives. This one, of course, is based on the Field Duty. He gave me 2 knives, and this one I've just adopted. I have to keep this for myself. I've fallen in love with it. I really love it. So the Lucky Gentleman Junkie next week will get the cool flipper clip point. That's also gorgeous. So these are really cool. But unfortunately, I don't have the one that's being given away. It's just out of reach over there. So let this suffice. Let me show you some more stuff that I got. Let's see here. I got this for my wife from Auxiliary Manufacturing. 37 likes is all. Come on, y'all. I'm with you, Miss Told. Don't be stingy with your likes unless your simmering resentment is keeping you from it. Just kidding. Because sometimes I'm like, maybe people like love to hate. You know, it's like, God, I hate this guy. I'm not going to give him likes, but I'm gonna watch. But this here is the Broadhead from Auxiliary Manufacturing. Michael Jarvis, awesome dude. His wife was there too, and I love their work. I have the Pocket Rocket, but I got this for my wife for running. She has a Bastinelli diagnostic that just is rusting into nothing because it's D2, and she holds the knife in her hand when she runs. So I figured she could carry this. I do have to fix that sheath. It is so tight. It's got to do a little carving on the sides just to get it to come out a little bit easier. But if she needed to while she's running, she could discourage someone with this right here. And of course, fits nicely in any one of the, you could even do it down here if you wanted to, but really this is kind of meant to go through the center. I love his work. He had a lot of really cool knives there. And man, it's just hard. It'd be really great to go to that show with like $100,000, like $100,000 that you could just spend, that you had to spend. Like you could not bank it. You lost it if you didn't spend it on knives and knife adjacent stuff. That would be the way to go. Wouldn't you know? I'd get that $40,000 knife and Bible. Edgy American says, nope, broom handle. Apparently the Irish weren't great craftsmen, and apparently lots of missing fingers. That's hilarious. That's funny. Broom handle. So like a very neutral style grip, I take it. Pete Davidson says, hey, Bob, check out the old Dirk fighting techniques, holding the large Dirk in reverse grip in the same hand and a claymore in the other. Oh, same hand as the shield, right? Did they have like a shield, a claymore, and then the Dirk? Something like that. Let's see. Okay, what else I got? This Justin of Tier 1 Gear Reviews and DC Blades gave me this out of his pocket. Can't believe he did that. It was so cool. He's like, I've been looking for you. This is yours. And he just handed it to me. And so this is the DC Blades tie folding scythe. So titanium folding scythe made by Shieldon. It's actually I guess it's Shieldon and DC Blades. So a licensed design. Very cool clip, by the way, here with that ball, sort of like a Todd Begg knife. I love the gear pattern jimping going all the way around. Now, you've seen this on the channel before. He loaned me one of these, and I loved it and was very hesitant to give it back, but I had to. So I'm really grateful that he just out of the blue gave this to me. Really appreciate it. It is beautiful. I love the contoured titanium. I love how it buries in the hand, and of course, it's optimized for Pikal style fighting, and I love that. Next, well, these two I didn't get technically. Well, not technical. I didn't get them at Blade. But here, actually, before I get to these, I'll show you something else first, because I got some new Civivis I want to show. But Bald Man Knife and Tool, Brent Smith, he loaned me these two, one of which I'm going to buy, and one of which we are going to give away. He's going to come on the show, and we'll give these away. One of these away. This is the Thickatross. So this is a 1/4 inch thick version of his Albatross model, a great EDC design. And this is just beefy as hell, fits in the hand great. It feels so good. And then the same thing with this. This is his thicker clipper. The clipper was his very first model. It was a drop point. And then he did a clipper Tonto with a deep hollow grind and a flat front. And then he did the thicker clipper Tonto. So this, again, is a 1/4 inch thick, deep hollow grind, like scary deep, very, very sharp on a thick blade. And then this up here is like a perfectly flat chisel area. So I believe I will be buying this one from him, but he sent me packing with them and was like, check them out, put them on your channel. I said, okay. Can we give one away? Yes. I said, can I? And I will reserve the right to buy this one with the cool heat treat. So Brent Smith, he's been on the show. Bald Man Knife and Tool. He is blowing up. He's got a lot of cool stuff and had a lot of action around his table. It's the people who are up and moving around and engaging people who really get the bites. Oh, here's one. Speaking of bites, because he's a fisherman and a hunter, Tom Nugent of Knives by Nuge. I got a knife from him. This very cool primitive. So he does a lot of camping knives, and this is a small Scandi ground neck knife called the Primitive, and I got it with the jute wrap. I love jute wrap, and he did a great job on this jute wrap, and this thing is super sharp. It's like a Scandi ground blade, nice and thin handle. This one I wear under the shirt against the skin, even with that kind of scratchy jute. It's so thin and light. I don't even feel it. This is 80 CRV2. Let's see. You can see that there, 80 CRV2, and then he's got a cool campfire logo, if it focuses there. So always love refreshing my love of neck knives, and I knew I wanted to get something from Tom, especially in the smaller realm, and this was just perfect. I'm glad he had this one left. Cool cord on this. Very good sheath. Cool cord. It's leather, and then here it's got this little thing here from Wazoo. Get that to focus. Wazoo. You just press on that, and it's comes undone. Clip it, and then you can alter the length here, and it screws in to the sides here. So a really nice way to have a cord around your neck and have it be pretty strong without having it snag. It'll break apart if you need it to. Pete Davidson says, in regards to the Scottish stocking knife, the guard. Oh, right, Scottish. Sorry, I like the all caps. Gotcha. Stocking knife. The guard wasn't needed if you have the butt of the handle in the middle of your palm. Right, the file work on the spine of the single edge blade helps. Yeah, old school jimping. I love that file work. And yeah, I have the Culloden, an old cold steel version of the Ski-N-Doo, and it's got a real small handle. And actually, the handle from the side also curves out a little to fit the palm of the hand better. Doug Bull says, I have to get started on a bug out bag. I keep putting it off. Yeah, don't put it off. It's like we who in frigid weather compared to warm climate know how important a good car battery is for survival. Yes. I my daughter's going away to camp in a couple of weeks, and she doesn't have a whole bunch of survival stuff. She's going to they're not even going hiking, but I got her a bunch of stuff. I'm like, in case you get separated, and she's like, that's not going to happen. But go to Walmart and get started there. Get a little space blanket. You get your fire starters, get your flashlights, get your this, get your that, and then you have that stuff all together. And then as you geek out more, you can be like, all right, I'm replacing this flashlight. I'll put this in the truck, and I'll get a nicer flashlight. And you need a knife, but something you don't mind leaving in a box to never ever get used, hopefully. So yeah, get started. Have a plan, have a kit, stay informed. Todd Carr says, before removing material on the sheath, try heating it first. Yeah, no, I know. Kydex is very shapeable. Okay, I don't. So Todd, I've done a bunch of Kydex for my own stuff, and I just know looking at this, this is a carved job for me. This is a carved job. All it needs is just a tiny bit of clearance. I'm afraid if I hit it with the heat gun, it's too generalized, and it will lose the shape it does have. So I'm just going to do just a little carve on the inside. Edgy American says, I want that scythe. I may even ignore that it's Chinese. Yeah, excuse me. It is so slick. And it's the kind of knife that just makes me super nervous about the tip. Like I don't want anyone to even know I have this, because then they'll be like, oh, can I check it out? And they'll be like, do you have to? Here, look. Look with your eyes, not with your hands. Craig Vincent. Bob, I don't think 100,000 is enough to get me through Blade Show weekend. The very first time I stepped in a Cabela's, I stayed 6 hours and spent 7,000. Holy shit. I can't imagine what I would attempt at Blade. Craig, that's hilarious. Yeah. It's just like, I'll take everything you have at this table. All right, you're out of money. Ah, that was quick. I did have, I was going to show you the little out the fronts from Cobra Tech that I got for my daughters, but I forgot to bring them downstairs. So they are sitting next to their beds. Cobra Tech, I got to say, I was resistant the first year I saw them. I kind of thought they were a little cheesy, but they make some damn good out the fronts. The two little ones I got from my girls, I've over and over and over, and haven't, one of them failed once, but really great. And I spent some time at their tables because I knew I wanted to get an out the front. One daughter requested a dagger in particular, so I knew it was going to be there. And so I picked up many Cobra Techs, and they were all awesome, though many of them aesthetically are not my cup of tea. Really nicely built. Pete Davidson says Craig should be banned from Blade Show for his own safety. Yeah, but it's good for the local economy. Acid Test Kids, XL tie scythe. I don't know if it's XL. It's definitely tie scythe. Acid Test Kids, you might be better qualified to tell me. I think it might be, now that you mention it, because I had the G10 folding scythe on loan for a short while, and I do remember it feeling quite small. I think you might be right, sir. Edgy American says, I replaced 550 cord in my bug out bag with a bank line, a plenty strong, and you can carry a lot more. What the hell is bank line with bank line? Interesting. Yeah, I should find out what bank line is. So I asked someone. Oh, I was asking Michael. I was asking Have a Knife Day, who's a airborne ranger, or former airborne, 82nd Airborne, and I asked him if 550 paracord is actually used in parachutes, and he said yes. And I was like, okay, just thought I'd ask. But I think that's pretty cool, right? I mean, it's not just parachute cord. It's not just called parachute cord. So I got my FLN from TKL Knives also on Saturday a Blade Show. It showed up to my house, so I had to call home and make sure you bring it inside. Like nothing's gonna happen to it, but I wanted to make sure it was inside. And I do have to send this back to Tim to get double edged. But man, this thing is so wicked. Of course, this was designed by Jared Neve. This is or I should say, this is a collaboration with Jared Neve. I'm not sure what the design provenance is of this, but man, I gotta say, full regular fist on this, and doesn't misalign anything. Feels great in hand. And I am not much of a karambit practitioner. I've done a little bit, enough to be dangerous to myself. Like all the flipping and stuff. I get a little bit of it. I like the crotch and the under the crotch flip and the under the chin flip, but everything else doesn't feel quite. But the good news is this, guys: you don't need to know how to fight with a karambit to put this thing to good use. First of all, it would make an incredible box opener. But also, if you just hold it in standard grip like this, it's pretty hard to stop the devastation of this claw-like knife. I bumped into Jared a couple of times at Blade Show. He and his wife, awesome, very warm people. And yeah, it just occurred to me because I showed him my brass knuckles, and he was like, I believe Bankline is 300-pound test. Damn. Well, just seeing Jared reminds me, yeah, this is a guy you wouldn't want to tangle with. He seemed to know a lot about how you hit people with brass knuckles. I was like, I love that. I trust you and I believe you. Robert Strebin says, yep, that's badass. Yep, it sure is, man. And this is in the Battleship, it's not Battleship. This is in Black Hawk Down, so it presents as black and purple, whereas this one is like the purple swirl burl. Love that. Bankline appears to be outdoor survival cordage. It'd be cool if it had if it doubled as fuse and it had like impregnated with gunpowder. Pete Davidson says, I wonder how those out the fronts will hold up in the hands of some enthusiastic young people. I'm sure they will. They are well-informed young ladies and know their limitations of tools. Yeah, now my younger daughter, my older daughter, who's 14 next week, she's fine with it. My younger daughter can get it out, but she can't get it back in. So the little rule right now is if you want to play with it, I'm totally game. Let's play with it, but just do it while I'm around, because I don't want you to not be able to close it and then just put it down and then forget about it and then later regret that. So, yep. They know good. They have good knife etiquette, knife habits. Pete Davidson, nice karambit. Thank you, sir. Another no for carry in Australia. Yeah, Australia, man. I'm sorry to hear that. That's someday, hopefully things turn around. Help with gadgets. Evening, folks. Good to have you here. Help with gadgets. How you doing, man? Excuse the cough. Well, we're about to wrap up here. We're gonna roll out of here in a minute, but I'm gonna do a show on these kind of things. Here, let me put these down. Here, I'm going to do a little show. This is a preview on things like the brass knuckles and like this. This is what Fred Perrin carries. He doesn't carry one by Erroneous Blades, but when he travels, he takes one of these and pops it open on his leg and does whatever he does with it. But, so if you have a little bit of training and you think a lot about, or if you have a lot of training, but you have some training and you think about what you're going to do, it's interesting to look at things that are not meant to be weapons, but that would do great here. Like, well, I guess they are meant to be weapons. What am I talking about? They're just unconventional. This one I got last year. I can't open that here, but so yeah, what WTF happened to Australia and how? Oh man, that's slippery slope stuff. You give an inch and suddenly you're like, oh my God, how did we get here? And that's what happens. That's what's been happening in Canada, and hopefully it doesn't happen here. Doug Bull says, Bob, do you prefer the karambit with or without the ring for self-defense? I like it with the ring. I like it with the ring. For a long time, after speaking with Ed Calderon, I thought, I'd never have anything with a ring again. But it really depends on the ring and how you're holding it. Jared Wihangi, I don't know if you guys know him, but he's a super self-defense stud guy, cop. I think he's from Brazil originally, but teaches all over the world all sorts of gun and knife techniques and stuff. And someone asked him, how do you hold a knife? And his answer was tightly. And I love that answer. So, something like this, the one thing for self-defense that I'm not so crazy about is the temptation to flip it around and do all that stuff. I feel like you do that, and unless fortune is smiling on you and you have outstanding training and experience, this flipping it around and doing all sorts of stuff is going to land you in trouble. That said, if you have this in your hand and a tight fist, I think you're going to be a force to reckon with, for sure. All right, that does it for me tonight. Make sure you join us on Sunday for John Roy of Dawson Knives. Very cool stuff coming out of Dawson Knives and Swords, I'll say. Very awesome conversation and a great guy. And now another knife company that I have to support because they do make some really damn cool knives. And then just keep your eyes peeled on the channel for everything else. Next Thursday night is the Gentleman Junkie knife giveaway, the Trinity by Eutectic. All right, that's it for me. And for Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying, until next time, don't take dull for an answer.